Good morning. It is currently acceptance season, which means colleges are busy turning out decisions on those applications that students worked so hard on throughout the past couple of months. With the average college student applying to between 8 and 12 universities, many of these students are going to be faced with a difficult decision. While you may get accepted to many of the schools on your list, you can only attend one, which is why making this decision is going to be one of the most impactful things you do in your entire life, which is why in this video we are going to take a look at how to decide which college is right for you. For those of you who aren't familiar with me already, my name is Jackson Walker and I used to work as an admissions representative at the University of Wisconsin. While I was in that role, I worked with students from across the world and helped them apply to and get accepted to the university, and I picked up a couple useful tips and tricks along the way as well. Now we're going to start with the biggest and probably the most important criteria in helping you decide which school is right for you, and that has to be your personal fit. Now, what do I mean by this? It's really hard to say because it all depends on different personal factors, but I'm going to say that if you went on any college tours during this time, you certainly know which school is the right fit for you and which one isn't. Finding which school fits with you is a highly personal thing, but I feel very strongly that you will know once you know the school that's right for you. For me, I went on a bunch of different college tours and I found some places that I liked, I found some places that I didn't, but I knew when I toured UW-Madison that it was the place for me. And I hope that everybody watching this video has a similar experience because it is such a cool feeling to finally find the school that feels right for you. Now, the fit of the school, how well you vibe with the campus, should come above all else, and I mean all else. A lot of students are going to feel tempted to say yes to some of these, cloudier schools, for example, these Ivy League schools, these very elite schools that, you may have lucked into an acceptance, but I'm going to say that unless that school is exactly the right fit for you, don't accept it. Say no, because at the end of the day, you can only say yes to one. So you're going to have to make some difficult decisions, and your well-being throughout the next 4 years is going to be far and away more important than any other aspect of your college education. Even if the school has an elite status or a special reputation, that should not be the key determining factor, because you could go to one of those schools and still not succeed. And at the end of the day, we're all about your success because this is an investment in you. Another key factor that should go into your decision making is what kind of programs these schools have. Now, across the board, most schools will generally have the same amount of course offerings in the sciences, the humanities, etc. There are some places that like to distinguish themselves from others by having unique courses, and this is something that you should really consider and take advantage of in this decision process, because if there's a school that has a unique course that you can't get anywhere else that you're really interested in, this could be something that you could really kind of capitalize on and use to propel you forward in the future, whether that's in the workforce or in graduate school or whatever it is that you decide comes after in school. Taking advantage of unique opportunities like these are so important, and it's one of the best parts of college because it really allows you to distinguish yourself and kind of help you evolve into that person that you dream of being at the very end of college. So pay attention to the special programs that your schools offer. Maybe take another look through their academic websites, talk to professors, talk to students that go there, talk to people that have been to the school maybe, or even just familiar with it. There are so many unique aspects about the academic experience that could appeal to you in a certain way that you should really have your eye out for, that's different than just the blanket college experience that you can get at any school. Another major factor is going to be the location of the school you decide. And I can already hear you. I can already see your comments down below. I want to get out of state. I want to be adventurous. I want to go and see the world. I want to go and meet new people and do different things. And I absolutely relate to that. I was in that same boat too. But it's important to consider that location is going to have a bigger impact on your education maybe than you think it will. For example, how far away you are from home is actually going to have a really big impact, at least on your freshman year. For me, when I was going into college, I had only ever been away from home on my own for an extended period of time for maybe about a week, maybe 2 weeks total. Diving into, this brand new environment right away for the very first time, being all alone by yourself, can be challenging for some people. And for some, it's comforting to know that home isn't too far away. You can go back, you see your parents, your siblings, your dog. For me, I was about 2 hours away from home by car, which wasn't extremely far because I was still able to see my friends and my family from time to time, but I didn't have a car of my own, which meant that somebody had to come and get me, pick me up, and then bring me home, which required a lot of logistics. It wasn't the easiest thing to go home. And I do recall, even though, parents are a little annoying sometimes, I do recall being kind of jealous of some of my friends that were, a lot closer to home. Their family could drive down all the time. They could see them on the weekends, things like that. If you go out of state too, you're going to have to consider that anytime you go home, it might likely be by air travel. So getting plane tickets, getting on a plane, going to the airport, finding someone to bring you there and pick you up, it's a lot of work for a college student that's also balancing an academic workload too. Before you go for that big glitzy school across the country, think for just a moment, where is this located and how am I going to get back home? Because unless you're completely abandoning your home, you're going to want to go back from time to time. That's just how it is. The college lifestyle is fun, but there gets a time when you do miss home-cooked meals. Really quickly, if you're enjoying this video and you're finding it helpful, please do drop me a like down below. It does a world of good for the channel, and it only takes you a moment. So go ahead, click that button for me, and we're going to move on to the next tip. The next tip is, of course, cost. And I've talked about this in my videos before for a good reason, because college is expensive. And finding the best deal for you is absolutely in your best interest in deciding which college to go to. Now, our last tip, location, plays into this quite a big amount, because if you are an in-state student, you are going to pay significantly less tuition than those who are out-of-state students. Getting a deal on in-state tuition is one of the best ways to go about paying for college, because it already decreases that sticker price so much. In some occasions, two states will have reciprocity with each other. Wisconsin and Minnesota are a good example of this. They have tuition reciprocity, which means you can attend a school in one state while being a resident of another and not have to pay that out-of-state tuition, which is a really big bonus. College tuition is really expensive, and while it's not guaranteed that you'll get a job right out of college, it's guaranteed that that debt is going to start accumulating interest. Because this is an investment in you, you should be trying to get that expense as low as possible. Find the best deal for you. For me, I was very fortunate. I was the recipient of something that we called Bucky's Tuition Promise, which was a grant that actually paid for all 4 years of my college education. Now, in order to qualify for that, I had to meet some specific criteria. My parents had to be below a certain income threshold, which they were. The biggest factor in that was that I had to be an in-state resident. And far and away, that was one of the biggest blessings I think I've ever received in my life. To this day, I'm still so incredibly grateful for that tuition gift that I received, because that really did change the trajectory of my life. I mean, even now in my early post-college life, I'm already doing things differently because I don't have to pay student loans. If you are presented with the opportunity to attend college for very, very cheap or even free, you should absolutely consider that as your top choice, because debt is no fun. Debt is not cool. That is something, if you've done any amount of research into college debt, this is something that people carry with them throughout their lives. So if you are picking a school solely based on its name that comes with a hefty price tag, keep that in mind. Keep that in consideration. It's also worth noting too that you should be contacting these schools' financial aid offices and trying to get as many scholarships, as many grants, all of the best deals that you can. Make sure too that you fill out that FAFSA form that is for federal student aid as well. All of these are great options to help make college a little bit more affordable for you. My last tip here, and this may ruffle some feathers, but I'm gonna say it anyways, don't follow your girlfriend to college. Now, I've seen this too many times where the high school sweethearts are in love and they are young and they are free and they are wild, and one of them is going off to college. I'm going to the big university far away, but I won't forget you. We're gonna keep this relationship alive no matter what. Believe it or not, this is a pretty compelling option for a lot of people to want to attend the university of their significant other. And while I'm not saying that this is a surefire way to really mess things up, what I'm saying is that you might be coerced into picking a school that's really not the right choice for you. And in the event that this relationship may not work out, you might be stuck at a place that you really don't enjoy, doing classwork that you weren't even really that interested in the first place. College is a time of exploration and growth and metamorphosis, and you may even find that throughout the college process, you and this person that you are with have changed and grown in so many ways that you really aren't the same people anymore, and your relationship isn't isn't the same that it used to be. That is to say though, I have seen people that go from high school to college and have had successful relationships that really are flourishing and doing well. But just another important tip for you to keep in mind, because I've seen it happen too many times where people go to college together, they're in love, they're having fun, and then all of a sudden things fall apart and it's really ugly. Definitely keep that in mind if that is a key decision factor in where you're going to college. Because again, like I said, we're more focused on the fit of the school than anything else. What other advice would you give to somebody that's deciding on colleges for the first time? Put it down below, and also let me know if there are any other videos you'd like me to make on this topic or others associated with higher education. I'm absolutely glad to do that for you guys if any appeal to you, because we've only just scratched the surface. If you haven't seen my other videos on this topic, I do encourage you to check those out up there, and also go down below and hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a ton. Thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I will catch you in the next one.